that I had was that of XLRI, and it's indeed a privilege for me to anchor this session. And I've had the honor of being there at XLRI a couple of times, interacting with students. So I know the institution. It has contributed immensely to Indian corporate world and economy, especially if you look at people are the chief catalysts for any transformation as an organization or as a nation, and XLRI has been at the forefront along with a couple of other institutions like Tata Institute of Social Sciences in contributing to those who facilitate people. But here today we are looking at both the business management BMD course as well as the HR. To help me with today's session, we have the privilege of having 3 students from the campus. I'll introduce all of them. I apologize, Gautam is in another session, so I am pitching in here. And we have the XLRI students here. And all 3 of them are incidentally from BM program, because though we had HR students, but they had some surprise quiz, so they are headed there. That's the life that's going to be in any B-School campus. So you have Pooja, Sujoy and Manish. Sujoy, over to 3 of you to introduce yourself. Sujoy.
Hi Srini, this is Manish. Can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah, speak Sujoy, could be louder.
Srini, hi, this is Manish. Sujoy is joining us right now. Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, Sujoy, kindly speak.
Yeah, Srini, can you hear me?
Yes, Sujoy, I can hear you. Kindly speak little louder, closer to mic.
Yeah, actually the voice quality is going down, so you're really not audible.
No, I can hear you clearly. Kindly go ahead, Sujoy.
Fine, okay. I'm Sujoy Sinha, currently pursuing BM, first year student here at XLRI. I've done my graduation from BITS Pilani. I'm a mechanical engineer. Thereafter got placed in NTPC and worked there for 34 months as a maintenance engineer. And that's it about me. I'll hand it to Manish.
Hello?
Hi Manish, kindly introduce yourself.
Hi Srini, let me introduce myself. I am Manish Sapra. I have done mechanical engineering from NIT Kurukshetra, and I passed out in 2009. After that I joined a manufacturing firm for 5 months. Thereafter I moved to a consulting for 3 months, and then I finally settled down in BHEL. I had 2 years of work there as a quality engineer, and then I joined XLRI in BM program in 2012.
How has the journey been? We'll talk about it. Over to Pooja. Can I hear Pooja too?
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Pooja. I've done my engineering in IT from KJ Sabaya, Mumbai, after which I joined Infosys and I worked there as an instructional designer for 20 months and then joined the BM program here in XLRI.
Hi, welcome Sujoy, Manish and Pooja. It's pleasure having you here. It's pleasure on behalf of the aspirants of this year. I welcome you all, and I look forward to an exciting session. More people will join. About 30 participants are here. We expect about registration of 170 or so. But let's get going. Could you share now that you I gather that you are about to finish your first year.
Right.
How is it feeling being part of the XLRI family? Sujoy, could you respond?
Yeah, it's actually Yeah, it's actually a pretty great feeling to have completed at least 2 terms here, and the third term is done. So it's among the top B schools in our country, and what differentiates it from IIMs is the fact that there is no reservation in the college. So you have a very competitive batch here, and more than that, the batch size is really small compared to again other B schools. So that gets you very close to the senior batch as well as to the junior batch. So you develop a very good network, and what we like to call it as Excel Mafia. So it feels good. It's still a long way to go, and many things yet to be experienced. And I guess that's it for me.
Manish or Pooja, would you like to add?
Srini, I would like to add 2-3 things here.
Yes.
The journey till here, it's full of roadblocks and traps. So all you think while getting into a B school is that that average package of this B school is this much and it is among the top 5, and rest assured my life is all settled now. But not for now, at least not for the first year. So you enter this B school with nobody coming from a lesser percentile. So everybody is very competitive here, and it's again another circle where you are again in a rat race and you have to perform. You can't sit back. So my advice to all of the candidates who are going to pursue this college is that this is a college which wants you to be more hardworking than you were before getting into this institute, and it will change. After has to prepare you for the job you have to pursue after MBA. So that's what we are in a phase of, and we are getting adapted to right now.
Pooja, would you like to share your early thoughts?
Like you mentioned, everybody here is on merit. So that really adds to the quality of the discussion that happens in the class. And again, small batch size, so we are very close to each other. We have a good, strong network. And we celebrate almost every festival, so it's a very nice, homely atmosphere here in the college, and I'm really happy to be a part of it.
So could you also share, Sujoy, Manish and Pooja, where do you hail from, and where did you have your school education or college, where do you pass out? Because that would give a good insight to other aspirants too.
Okay, I was brought up in Chhattisgarh in Korba, and thereafter, after doing my 10th till there, I went to Delhi to pursue engineering studies, and preparation for engineering, to be more precise. And thereafter I went to BITS Pilani, again came back to Delhi for job, and stayed 3 years in Delhi working, and from there back to small town Jamshedpur. So that has been my journey, mostly. I think.
How about you, Manish? So Sujoy started from Korba, Chhattisgarh, and moved to BITS Pilani, Delhi, and back to Jamshedpur. So that's wonderful. Manish, could you share your background, early childhood, and school and college, and because that would give real perspective to each one of the aspirants.
I was brought up in Faridabad. I did my schooling from there only. I joined a coaching institute, FITG, for pursuing my engineering studies, and then I joined NIT Kurukshetra in 2005. So after that, I kept roaming around Delhi NCR only. My first job was in Ghaziabad, the second was in Gurgaon, and the third was in Noida. So all the while I was, staying in a flat and, shuffling on the weekends to home and back. And as an average working guy's story goes, he gets, a little frustrated seeing all the managers on the top. I too got it, and I started preparing for MBA, and then I came here.
I see. So you explored the entire NCR.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Delhi, most of it.
Pooja, you come from Mumbai. Could you share your background also, please?
I was brought up in Mumbai itself. I did my schooling and engineering there. The only time I left Mumbai is to work in Pune for Infosys. And from there I came directly here to Jamshedpur. So not much time.
Oh, I see. So you moved directly from Mumbai, Maharashtra to Jamshedpur. So that must have been a real jump. Having been in Mumbai and Pune, going to Jharkhand.
Yes.
But Jamshedpur is actually it is an what do you call oasis. So not much you get to know when you
Thing to call it. Yeah, it's a small town. It's very industrial.
Yes.
But apart from that, not many avenues to go around and have fun. But yeah, you still won't be disappointed because you'll not have much time. So you won't be disappointed with whatever time you are left with. You will have sufficient places to go around and be with friends. Go out and hang out. So that way it's good. But again, connectivity wise from big cities, only one, there's no airport, so there's just a railway station.
Yes.
And the nearest airport would be Ranchi.
Ranchi. But it's a great place. I've traveled extensively in Jharkhand, touching Jamshedpur. I keep visiting regularly to Jamshedpur. Yeah, unlike the big cities of Delhi and Mumbai, where you have more avenues in the evenings to spend, but I think it's an exciting place. Nevertheless, in terms of the peer group, the learning, the 2 years of intense learning, and yes, the ecosystem that Tatas have created really add up to great learning process. In fact, it is a cradle that Tatas have created for Tatas have supported immensely the entire Xavier's institution, and the nations in terms of people excellence definitely is powered predominantly by XLRI. So let's move ahead. The agenda for this session is to make everybody comfortable with the process, because we know the process have undergone a change this year. Traditionally, conventionally, the XLRI is all about only the interviews, but as IIMs and other processes are changing, XLRI has introduced group discussions too in the process. So this for all those who have got calls and who are eagerly waiting to be part of it. As it's a green campus, it's an excellent campus. It is very close to all major Tata group of Tata Steel and so on and so forth, their ecosystem. So now this year we have in both BM and the HRM, both process would involve two phases, group discussion, personal interview. So if you look at the personal interview dimension, the insights of last year, there are few here, and I would definitely like more inputs from Sujoy, Manish and Pooja coming in. But this is what has been the last year. Panels comprising 3 members, each conducted interviews. The interviews did not have same set of patterns, it kept changing from panel to panel. There were questions on subjects, there were questions on goals and ambitions, questions on work experience, and questions on current affairs and general awareness. That's the pattern that would happen in any of the interviews. There was drilling on hobbies too. But any of these business schools would definitely like to explore why you are here, what is your real goal, and where does the MBA figure in that entire goal, and how intensely it figures, and how significantly XLRI will have any role to play, and what do you have a clarity about it. So this broadly has been the trend of last year. Yeah, last year we have had a group discussion for HRM. Unfortunately, today we are not having any HRM students here because they have a surprise quiz, I suppose. But we have insights about last year's. That group of 10 each, about 2 minutes to think and 10 minutes for discussion. and each of the candidates were asked to summarize, given 30 seconds to do so, and the topics were of general nature. Yeah. Some of the topics that were covered in the last year were these. Should there be non-Indian CEOs for Indian companies? The variation could include, should we have coaches from other countries for hockey and cricket and other sports in India? Do they really understand the Indian psyche and culture to really get the best out of them? So that's about the values and culture and leadership and so on and so forth. Does Indian medical system need reforms? So what are the reforms that you have in mind? What about governance? How do you see what sort of reforms that Indian governance or Indian government system should see? So these are the topics. So broadly, if you could see, it is all about reforms agenda, whether we're talking about governance, if you're talking about a particular area like medical system, or if you're talking about corporates. So that's the slant that XLRI actually takes. It's about high on values, high on organizational, national culture, high on leadership building in whatever way that we are looking at. And let me just throw back these questions in terms of your insights to Sujoy, Manish and Pooja. Sujoy, Manish and Pooja, whoever would like to share about your own insights into your preparation for your interview. Last year you did not go through group discussion, but I'm sure there's a lot of talk happening on the campus on the group discussion. Over to you, Sujoy, Pooja or Manish. Could you respond, please?
Okay. As you said, we did not have interviews for BM last year. I'm so sorry. Group discussions for BM last year. But I think the preparation levels would be the same for like it will be for any other B school. Mostly, what we are told that that the qualities that are being sought after in a GD are the leadership skills, how you can lead the GD, or you can take it in a proper direction. So that is something that will really be seen. You need to be assertive as well as aggressive to some extent, but obviously not a bully. But having said that, for BM we did not have any group discussion. And as far as HRM GD goes on, I had an HRM GD PI call. So the GD was mostly like they gave 10 points, and they asked individually each of us to rate those 10 points, and then asked the group as a whole to come down to consensus within 10 to 15 minutes. And they were very precise about the timing. So
when you said 10 points, Sujoy, could you elaborate on what are those 10 issues or 10 points that they were shared? Or could you just give?
I am not very clear about the 10 points that they asked, but mostly they were on social issues. Like the topic was major factors in affecting the corruption of India.
Okay.
Factors for that are contribute to the corruption in India, and the points were like unethical nature of the people, or social disparity. So you have to rank these according to you, like which one is the most important to you that contributes to the corruption in India. Okay. And then you have to come and talk in a group and come down to a consensus whether these points you're coherent with the group or not. I don't think they look for you to I don't think they look that whether your point ranking matches with the group ranking. What they look is whether you have a logical flow of thought, whether you are willing to accept what others are saying, and whether you can assert your points when being told. And apart from that, PI interview, then again it's a whole story. I think the Manish can tell something more on GD. Okay.
Yes, Manish.
Actually, what happened is in BM interviews we are given specific slots. So every candidate has 20 minutes precisely. So we are called like I had my time at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and some candidate was scheduled at 2:20, so he would be called 2:20 only. So they are very strict about the timing. The panelists, as you have already mentioned in the slide, had 3 people, and these all 3 people will have a look on your file. Okay, so it's good to have a CV prepared, although they might not even look at it and they might pass it, but it's good to prepare a CV so that you can have certain points in front of them to give them certain direction towards the interview so that you can be comfortable during the interview. Otherwise, the common areas of the interviews remain the same. They can be asked, from some areas among them. So the areas basically are, if there's a WorkX guy, so he would be grilled on his work, that what all he has personally contributed, and how thorough he is with what he's saying. Afterwards, academics are also very much stressed. If somebody is a BTech in any discipline or any other also graduation, he would be asked some questions about it. So he has to show confidence that yes, even apart, it happens to work very specially. You can't escape by saying that it's been so many years that I have passed out, so that I don't remember. Because what they actually are looking for is that somebody who is academically strong and has his learnings with him. It does not have to be the actual fact, but it's the learnings which he should reflect. And apart from that, the current affairs are their special, and the geography. One special characteristic I have noted that it's not that if you keep on saying, sir, I don't know continuously, it means the interview is going bad. But what happens is, after a series of questions which are fact based, they'll throw a question which is logic based. And then if you say, I don't know, then they get to know that you are not thinking, you are in fear right now. So that's bad for you. So whenever you can apply a logic, you have to display that. It's perfectly okay if you don't know a certain fact about geography, you don't know the rivers or the cities to Jamshedpur from Delhi, then that's perfectly fine. But when they ask how to go about it, and if you can talk about that in a mature manner, they will listen and they'll appreciate it.
Okay, I'd like to mention a few things. Mostly it's happened in Excel interviews that a lot of geography questions have been asked. It seems to be a trend. So I think it would be better if you prepare a little on those things. Then you need to know everything about yourself, especially the place that you hail from. If you're from Maharashtra, you're expected to know everything about Maharashtra, the culture, the famous places, everything. So you need to prepare on those questions. Besides your general why MBA question, you need to give it thought. Now, everybody knows that there is not much clarity in that area, but still, you need to have thought it through at least once. You need to able to relate to why you've moved from, if you're a fresher from college, why do you want to do an MBA right now? If you have some WorkX, what is your WorkX related to an MBA? So you need to understand those things as well.
Okay.
I'd like to add something more to it. Like she said, there has to be a logical flow of thought, right? There should be a nicely built story, where everything falls into place. Means MBA should not pop up because it's a rat race or because it's anything to do. It should be because it fits into your, bigger scheme of things. So long-term and short-term goals. These are something that you might not be asked, but these are something that if you are clear, you go in confidently inside an interview, because it's very easy to catch you off guard on these questions, because if you are faking it, it's very easy to catch the inconsistencies. And they also know that almost everyone comes there in a B school for a placement. So, boasting rich things like I want to do good for the nation despite having done nothing at all ever in any field. So these are things that get you in trouble. So be honest. Being well articulated is something that will come very handy, and everything should fall into bigger scheme of things. So like it should fall within what will you do in next 5 years, then what will you do in next 10 years, and eventually you should be very clear. At least you should have a plan. Things might not pan out that way, but at least you should have a plan where MBA fits in. And last year geography was a trend. Year before that something else was. But and geography would be strangely geography. Suddenly they start asking. Like for me, the interview started well with my WorkX. They went on to my sector. They asked me quite a few questions on power sector. I was well prepared on that, and so I could answer. Thereafter, it went on to Indian politics. Again, means I had sufficient time to prepare on those regards, so I could answer. And then suddenly when they saw I was answering, they threw me a question like, what were the 5 coasts in India if you go from Mumbai to Calcutta? And I was really not prepared. I was the first guy to give an interview in Delhi, first BM interview. So I had no clue what they were asking. So this was my.
Could you repeat this? What are the 5?
Ports, 5 ports, seaports.
Ports, okay.
Yeah, seaports in India. If you go from Mumbai to Calcutta, so I could name 3, and then I had to re-articulate Mumbai and Kolkata. So they found it very funny. But again, thereafter, then again a few more geography questions which really put me off guard. But like Manish said, I think their intent was to break the tone, and because I think they found out that I was prepared. And then they asked me, following these questions, that if I were the finance minister for Mr. Manmohan Singh, what would be my advice to him? So these kind of questions, once you are like, oh no, my interview is going really bad, I'm saying too many, I don't know, and I'm not sure. Thereafter, you will have to come up with something logical. And I think that's where my interview, I think, was a turnaround. I really handled that question really well. And that's how it ended for me there. But while coming out, you always feel they were very nice, but you screwed it up all.
Yeah,
Okay.
and another thing I'd like to mention
Could you, Pooja, is it an issue? Could you be closer to the mic, or should you have mic closer to your mouth, please?
can you hear me now?
Yeah, better.
Yeah. So like Manish mentioned, you might want to carry your CV if you want to point out, steer the interview in some direction. So in that case, carry the CV and highlight whatever points you want to talk about. I didn't carry a CV because I felt I didn't have anything exceptional, so I wanted to direct the interview right from the beginning. So I didn't carry any particular CV, but it's better if you have something that will be good for you.
Yeah, because XLRI does not ask for another form to fill in. That's a good idea.
And another thing is, they don't really want to know your marks.
Right.
So.
But if you are a repeat attempt, if you have a repeat attempt in XLRI, and if you have a call, few of the instances they are aware of that it's a second attempt or it's a third attempt. So they'll ask you what went wrong last time, why weren't you selected, or what other calls you have, and like I am Shillong and all. These interviews are over, right? So by this time they usually are. So they asked what happened. IFT gets over before XLRI interviews. So they ask you such questions: what went wrong? Why are you applying so many? And if you have excellent BM and HR, selection, it will be very good to be very clear on why BM and why SRM, because these two are very different specialty. There is no overlap in course structure here. They will be treated very separately. So it's a very good idea if you have clarity. While preparation, it's nice if you can go through the website and be aware of going through the website of XLRI is a very good suggestion which I got back then, so that you have certain clarity on the college, the modus operandi, how those things work, and how you fit in that college, right? Obviously, one can fit in any college, but you have to convince them how you best fit in XLRI and why XLRI best fits in with your bigger scheme of picture.
Thank you. I've been talking about it in various sessions that I've been addressing in the boot camps and so on and so forth. It's very important for us to think little beyond. Yeah, as much as we want good institutions would definitely like to have students who have great clarity about their future. In the sense that we may not be aware of 30, 20 years down the line, but at least we should be aware that what would we like to pursue 5 years, 10 years down the line. That's the direction, at least clarity on direction we want to pursue. So I've been asking few questions. If you, all those who are listening to, if you have not been part of any other sessions, these questions are number one. Because we in our life, we all want a lot of, that's as Sujoy and Pooja and Manish have been talking about, most of us have been looking at MBA because people are talking about security, good job, good pay scales, you travel extensively, even abroad you may get posted. These are all things that we really talk about. But if you really don't know which way we are heading, we really don't know how much effort we have to put in, and what sort of effort you have to put in, when do you have to put in, how do you have to put in. So it's very, very important. We all look at things outside, but we rarely look at within. So the first and foremost question, if I were to talk about my journey, I have been internal driven. So whatever I do, and I not only, it is about the passion that you carry. It is about what you really love doing. Yeah, I can narrate many stories about. We all know people who have done MBAs and they're making big moolahs, not just in corporates, but in many other places where they really love doing. Okay, from Harsha Bogle to Mani Ratnams to, you may say these are all one-off. No, I'm sorry. I work with huge number of youngsters who are creating their own path, who are creating companies. I sit on quite a few boards where young 26, 27, 28-year-old are doing wonders. So it is first question is to ask about what do I really love doing, what do I really enjoy doing, then to ask where is this my passion or love, this kind of work I wish to do, which industry, if you intend to do a 2, 3, 4 years of work before starting off your own, you should ask which industry does values this kind of passion and this kind of love for my kind of work, and study a little bit more about that industry, understand a little bit more about the largest players or the top players of the industry, how the industry has been, how these companies have been in the past, and go a little bit more into those companies. You have all the documents available in terms of from the chairman's annual address to the AGMs and blah blah, to what they're seeing, what they're looking, how the industry is looking ahead. If I got to look at my own interview way back in early 90s, I had my background was MTech Computer Science. I worked for 4 years with TCS, and in the interview room, mind you, this is before the advent of this phenomena called internet. Even email did not exist because Hotmail became hot only in 1996. Yeah. But the interview of 20 minutes, almost 12 minutes lasted on what would the future look like? Because I took away a lot of questions that I saw some questions here about I have good profile, I have got decent work ethic, do they ask academic knowledge? No, the interview is about how you set your own agenda in terms of what is the direction that you set, because in most of the interviews, they're definitely going to make you feel comfortable asking, tell me about yourself. That's a great opportunity for you to set. So in my interview, we went on and on because I spoke about information superhighways, things like movie on demand, video on demand, and so on and so forth. So they were actually the panelists. If there are 3 or 4 panelists, I'm sure half of them would not have seen about technology, information technology 25 years down the line. So that's how you set the agenda. So it's very important to ask ourselves what do you really enjoy, what do you really love doing, and where does it apply, which industry does it apply, which are the companies that will you see making those shifts, making those changes. Yeah, and XLRI talks about value system, people, these all play very important roles. So if you are also aware, whether you are the business management or HRM, if you are a bit aware of the roles that people have played or the organizations that people-centric, which are value-driven organizations, and in whichever organization or companies are you looking for, kindly look at the culture and all those dimensions. Kindly go a little deeper. From there, you'll come back a step further to figure out what is it that XLRI is offering. So it is very important that you go through each and every page of the website. Nowadays, the websites have got quite a few things, and you will get to that extent of knowing which faculty is working in your area of interest. So go and see what sort of work that faculty has done, what sort of consulting work he has done, what sort of paper he has produced. So the moment you know those things, you're at a great advantage because you're going to talk. You can definitely talk through, drop names like, for instance, the professor of your institution in operations space has been working on that space. He has been consulting. I really loved his paper. That will give you a tremendous insight into how proactively you are looking at the institution. So broadly, these are the ways to go by. So you have your goal set at least 4, 5, 6 years down the line. Look at institution XLRI, know inside out. And if you're going to talk about in English, Chato all pages of the XLRI, kindly make notes thoroughly. You should know what are the things that you're going to drop there so that they hang on, so that you have a story to tell. Okay? So that's what if you're going to elaborate in what my friends are talking about, Sujoy, Pooja and Manish, that's what it is. Is there anything more that after having spoken, Sujoy, Pooja and Manish would like to add broadly on the interview space, and if more on the GD too? Over to you, Sujoy and team.
Hi. See, one thing that Nishant sir told me, I think he's there among us.
Yes.
Yeah, so one thing he told me was that read as much as you can, and on topics, diversified topics like maybe go through economic times or politics, because then you get talking points during an interview. You can talk on anything, and the great advantage with that is it's better to look stupid in an area that you are not supposed to know than looking stupid in the area that you are supposed to know. So once you really are not very well aware or read, they'll be forced to ask questions relating to ACADS, because I think ACADS is the most dreaded thing amongst the students, like with work, X, and even after 1 year graduation you think yaad hi nahi hai. So the way to avoid is to have more talking points, and for that you again need to read or be aware of certain things, especially when it comes to things you are passionate about or things that you want to do, like photography or something that you passionately do. Now we feel that how is it relevant to MBA, right? Your sports, why are they asking you questions on who is the greatest athlete in India or what is the time? I think the idea is to gauge the amount of passion you have, because eventually you'll be taking up jobs or maybe starting your own ventures, and all that will amount down to is how passionate you are towards your work and towards the task that is given to you. So I think that's something that they really gauge, and that can only be gauged through things that you have done and how passionately you have done it. So there's nothing wrong if you have done photography or even watched movies left, right and center, or maybe TV series, or played anything in your life. It's just that how deeply you were involved, and how, if it played a big role in your life, can you justify it on every scale possible. So that would be something really good if you can do during an interview.
And Srini, I would like to add something.
Yes,
what happens in current affairs question is, they are not looking for the fact. They won't ask you, do you know something, do you know this fact, where has it happened, on which date it has happened. They are basically looking for opinions. So if they ask that, okay, do you know the current scenario on FDI? So then they would be looking towards, what's your opinion on what's your take on the issue, and how you think things should be. To judge your opinion, and in that answer you should reflect your knowledge, but you should come out as a mature person who looks towards pros and cons of each thing. So even if I am a pro FDI, I should also be talking about the cons of FDI, that okay, there are something bad also associated with it, but the good part overweighs it, and that's why I'm very pro FDI. So they are looking out for a person who is mature enough to realize that everything has pros and cons, and he knows that, and then he forms his opinion. So that's one thing. In current affairs, they are basically looking for the opinions, and apart from that, if you are going to say that you have a hobby, you should reflect it through your knowledge in the answers, because hobby is something you should be having more knowledge than the panelist. If you say my hobby is following tennis or following football, so you should be able to answer one extra question apart. Even if you have something that of this club, you should be able to tell 3 more info about that club. So unless and until you have that much knowledge, it's not good to say that I have a hobby of doing this.
A few things I'd like to add to all of this. First of all, like you said, it's good to know about the professors. Please know about the course as well. Which subjects will you have in the entire syllabus? That's important. The second thing I was going to add. Yeah.
Oh, she's short of ideas right now.
Oh yeah. Those people who are both HR and BM calls, you might need to prepare that answer of why HR over BM or why BM over HR. So you need to as well.
Yes, they would be knowing that you have been shortlisted for both, and they would be asking that you have applied to both. So are you not
very right.
want to lead your life? And they might even ask you, which do you prefer, BM or HR?
Yeah, so you need to think about these.
Exactly. It's not bad to say that I prefer BM over HR. See, basically, the perfect answer is, I am here right now in my life. I want to reach here in my life. MBA is the bridge, and it's the perfect way of going it through BM. If you want to say BM, if you want to say HR, then say HR is as your priority. They won't mind being honest, but you have to say something. You can't say I will do both.
Just one word of caution: don't in the panel of BM, don't say BM, and in panel of HR, don't say HR. There might be a common panelist, and you might end.
So just be honest. Being honest is very necessary.
Very appreciated. Very
in XLRI, being honest is important. So.
Yeah, that's true of anywhere and everywhere. You want to be honest, because otherwise you will be definitely caught. It is.
You really don't want to get caught lying.
Yeah, seriously, because faculties talk and they'll really know. One guy came and said, I want to prefer BM in BM interview, and goes back to HR interviews and says, I prefer HR over BM. So that's not a good idea. They don't mind you telling in HR interview that you prefer BM over HR. It's just that you should be very clear. If not BM and if HR, then how does it fit in to everything? And if you have applied to both, you must have given it some thought, right? So, you know, what was the thought process behind that? And don't be very blunt over certain things like I wasn't sure. That really doesn't, you know, take you anywhere. Coming up with something substantial, you know, something logical. It should be a very well connected story. Like I've been saying, it should be a logical extension to what the kind of life you have been leading and the kind of life you want to. So it should just bridge that gap.
Anvesha, hope you got the answer. The other question people are asking is, what is the weightage that does a written exam or GK marks and essay? How much do they do they have weightage, or once you get into this stage weightage is considered more than those?
See, we have Pooja here who was 99.99 percentile of our batch. So, but what we hear is there was another girl who was 99.99 and she is not on campus. And she was not selected, and we have people with percentiles as let's say as low as 91 percentile. So
okay.
Again, percentile, you know, obviously percentile gives you a
It's just a chance for an interview. I don't think it matters much. There is no clarity. I mean, the college hasn't officially released as to what is the weightage, but then I personally believe I don't think it matters much. It's what you do in that interview that counts.
So that addresses a couple of questions that have come by. So it depends on, see, you have been brought to the center stage, you are on the pitch now, kindly play the deliveries. What you did outside the stadium does not matter. Now that you are into the team, now that here, kindly play the game. So it is very important for you, as people have said, kindly keep yourself, each one of you, updated. Go through the editorial pages, the financial pages, the corporate dossiers that you see in various publications and newspapers. Kindly make sure, especially the editorials of a couple of newspapers you should read every day and kindly make notes of, because most of the topics as a panelist, because I also sit in the panels, the topics that we give are not completely outdated, they are current. We are talking about issues that have been on the top of mind of people, and they expect you to actually have reasonable amount of, as Manish shared, pros and cons. It is not about making a decision. It is not about having your opinion. It is about how well you explore every issue. So that is very important, and that is a common thread you will come across even in GD and interview, because both of it, because we exist in context, in a socio-economic context, so they are going to see whether you are aware, do you keep yourself abreast with happenings around you, and what is the take that you have about it, and how do you see yourself planning in such a context. That's what it is. Anything more that you would like to add if you've been through the GD process, as Manish shared earlier, if you have had calls from both, because more or less I expect the GDs to go on a very similar note as the last year, whether it's a BM or if it's HRM. Any thoughts on the GD front? Could you share, please?
They really are very clear on not making it a fish market. They really do not appreciate it. So there is no point going over the board, trying to impress, trying too hard to impress by, cutting every point left, right and center. Don't go very, very aggressive in the GD. I think that's I had a very peaceful GD for that matter in XLRI. There were not many people were really, because we have been warned, and what we heard before that was one panel was totally rejected. Based on that, the panelists were not really happy with the previous panel, so we were very cautious about that. And as far as the GD went, it was very peaceful. People really heard each other, and points came out. Then the points started flowing very nicely. So it's very important not to make it fish market. But then again the question comes, what if others make it? So they'll be very clear. They'll point out the people and stop them from creating a nuisance. So those things are taken care by the panel. So the panel in GD just make sure the clarity of thought comes out. It's not required that you speak a lot. It's required when you speak you make sense, and you take the GD in a right direction and give valuable and different inputs, rather than reiterating others' points.
Anything else Pooja would like to add?
Yeah, everybody gets a chance to speak. Mostly it doesn't turn into a fish market unless there are very aggressive people. And you will get to summarize, so in case you didn't get to speak earlier, you might want to utilize those 2 minutes appropriately. Yeah.
The GD last year few GDs lasted 10 minutes. Do they go also 15 minutes and 20 minutes?
No, they are very strict with the time.
That's 10 minutes.
Yeah, if there's 10 minutes, then it goes 10 minutes. Year before that it was around 15 minutes, so they went on till 15 minutes. So they do not exceed the time, because they'll call you just before. They'll not make you wait much for the next time.
They have a clock, they have a buzzer. So they instruct earlier also that after these many minutes we'll press the buzzer, and it would be indication to conclude within 2 minutes, and then they'll press the buzzer again and then stop the panel, because they have to take the interview of the 10 candidates, and then there is another panel which is coming up. So they are very time specific. So they'll stick to the duration. So what you need to do, it's not necessary to keep talking, which might work against you. You have to pitch in 2-3 times and give 2-3 different points and be in sync with the structure. If you are saying something about introduction of the topic in the second last minute, then it is not considered good. You should be going with the flow. Hello.
Yeah. I'm listening. Pooja, anything more you would like to add?
I think that's pretty it. It's like any other GD, but what is important is that you come out as a calm person and you express yourself and you display some knowledge. So GD is about that, and apart from that, what I can recall from my HR interview, it is very much, the common thread is that they asked me about a work ex. Okay, I also appeared for HR interview, so they called me, they talked about my work ex. I had a quality work ex, so one guy was asking technical questions about that. And then there were certain questions about Haryana, because I lived in Faridabad, so they asked me everything about Haryana, about the GDP of Haryana, what are the main crops, what are the main sources of income, which governments were there earlier, what do you think, which government is performing better. So they asked about my opinion. And then the third panelist asked me about 2 HR questions. The HR questions were usually, to just test that mostly people are coming from an engineering background, working in technical area. So if they have to come in HR, they basically, the questions were like, if a very talented guy is ready to leave the organization, he has given a notice, and he has very much technical information which is very sensitive. So what will you do? So I had to detail in all the steps. So I made a point to say that I would be reading into the clauses. So I reflected that how much information of HR I know. So those two questions were about that.
Another thing I would like to add is that the panel will be a mixed panel. It was for Mumbai. The BM interviews will have an HR faculty sitting. The HR interviews will also have a BM faculty sitting. So they can ask you anything.
Yeah.
Moreover, my HR interview, it was mostly behavioral, so they went on asking, mostly questions that will, give you in a situation that where the practical answer is more, sensible than the ethical answer. Like they said, if your friend is dying and you are stuck in a, because you tend to claim I am honest and I am in all these things, so they tend to question you on those. And to be very frank, the ethical answer is always the right answer.
Okay. Okay. So broadly, that's what it is. Is there anything specific, as an institutional specific things apart from GD that interviews? Any questions that you would like to ask? Kindly fire your questions in the chat box or in the QA box. We are looking forward to your questions. So that if there is anything specific to address, otherwise we'll start winding up the session in the next 5-10 minutes, because you have been listening to our panelists here, Sujoy, Pooja and Manish. Kindly fire your questions in the QA box or chat box.
Okay, here's some.
Yeah, continue.
Some of the questions that we are seeing is regarding work-ex, right? People have a contention on what kind of work-ex is optimum, what is being sought for. So it, to be very frank, it really depends from year to year of the induction. The year before us, it was a fresher-heavy batch, so they preferred people with less work-ex and more freshers in that batch. But the trend in our batch is different. We have more work-ex people. The people with more than 3-year work-ex are really less. I guess you can count them maybe 2 or 3. But yeah, till 3-year work-ex, there are quite a few people. And the
2 to 3 years work-ex usually, right?
Yeah, right. The average work-ex would be around 2 years in current batch, and very few freshers this batch. So I'm not very sure what kind of mix they are looking for in next year, because they keep experimenting with this mix depending on the placement scenarios, what companies ask for, and what kind of students they can get placed easily. And considering the economy, the condition of economy, which is really not good right now in terms of placement, so I'm not very sure what kind of batch they're looking for. And but work-ex will not stand in between you and your chances of getting selected or not selected. It's just something you will have to justify it very well. That again, like we have been all been saying that why MBA? That's the key question.
There are a few questions that I could see in terms of, will this be of value, will that be of value? See, everything that you have done in your life, which I'm sure each individual is unique, and each individual has got our own strengths, whether you're talking about social entrepreneurship, you're talking about being a writer, you're talking about writing regular blogs. So each one is of very significant value. Kindly highlight them, because things you're really comfortable in, things you're really doing regularly, if you can bring those out, I think you can definitely engage them for some time. Understand they are going to give you only 15 to 20 minutes of the interaction space or the face-to-face interaction. And if we look at the psyche of the interview panel, imagine they are going to go through some 15 to 20 interviews in a day. And most of the aspirants are going to answer very similarly. Why MBA? Why this background? Why are you shifting? All will have very stereotypical answers. So if you can make their 20 minutes very interesting, they will make your subsequent 40 years very interesting. So it is very important that kindly make sure you have some good issues or good areas to bring forth your thoughts, your ideas. If you can make their 20 minutes lively, I'm sure they're going to make a big difference to your life. So work on your strengths, work on your areas, go a little deeper in what you are really good at. Okay? Yes, if your choices, as they shared, if your choice is BM over HR, be honest. Yeah? And because they're going to evaluate, both panels are going to evaluate you. And if you have a logical thought, if your goals are right and your XLRI is built into your goals and how you have thought about it, why you have thought about it, why HR or BM you have thought about it, I think you should be able to share it and it will naturally flow. Don't worry about what will they think. Okay?
There are some questions that we are taking here regarding how them with business and all those things. See, the course structure here is that even if you are a BM student, you will be exposed to courses of HRM, and even if you are a student in HRM, you will be exposed to courses in finance, marketing, operations in first year, as well as you have electives in second year to to pursue your other interests apart from HRM. If you are taking a course that you have an interest in HRM, so there is no way out of it. I don't know if there is a way out of it, of telling that I want to do something else, but HRM is my secondary choice, and yet I want to join HRM. You join HRM because you want to do HRM, and obviously there are jobs and profiles that come on campus that select BM and HR for general management profile. So they don't distinguish between they don't separate BM and HR while recruiting, and even HR people have their own consulting companies, those who come on campus. But things said and done, you in HRM you do have courses of finance, marketing, operations, strategy, where you can get exposed to all these things. People do even people from HRM batch do take up projects on finance and marketing depending on their interest. But the primary course will revolve around HRM, and same is the case in BM. It will primarily revolve around BM. There are not much overlap thereafter after you join the campus.
I'd like to answer the question regarding what you do when you are asked about engineering, right? It's been 2 years of WorkX, you don't remember much. So the chances of being asked is less if you have WorkX, because you can talk about that. But in case you are asked, then I would recommend that you at least prepare one subject which you liked in engineering, so you can direct them towards that subject.
And at least you should know a couple of areas. You have done 4 years of program and then you worked, so better be good at what you have done. Work experienced people kindly know about what kind of work you have done and what sort of benchmarks are there in the industry in that particular space. Which company is doing much better work than what you have done, and how is it different? Why your organization is not implementing some of those thoughts and ideas? If you are the CEO of the company, what is it that you do differently? These are the common questions. You have got to go a little beyond what you are doing and look at it, understand whether it's HRM or BM. You are here because you are into the space of business or corporate. Okay, number one. And whether HRM, HR is all about enabling people to excel so that organizations excel. So the people have to excel. If people have to excel, they need to know the organization well. That's why HR courses or any given course, if you are specializing in this case, in BM also you would like to specialize in marketing, you would like to specialize in operations or whatever, you will take greater credits in those areas, finance. Each one of these areas do not exist in isolation. Okay? If you look at organization, the growth path or the career path, a person who is a financial, who entered as a finance person, even with a CA, ended up being the global HR head of the company. So it doesn't mean that you are in finance, you are going to end up only in finance. Okay? Ultimately, when you actually keep growing, it doesn't really matter. It is all about people. It is all about people excellence. Okay. So you could really interleave both. It means if you're talking about HR, you need to understand business. If you're talking about business, as you go up the ladder, it is all about enabling people to excel in any area of business. So they both go hand in hand. So if you're wise enough, if you understand, if you're reading regularly, I'm sure you will know a lot. Kindly look at some of these issues. I'm a regular reader of Forbes and Business Today and Business India. You kindly pick up few issues, old issues, and just invest some 3-4 days, leave everything aside and just go through every article in these issues. Amazing issues. I have in front of me the latest Forbes issue is talking about how these smartphones are changing your lives. Yeah? So you've got to be far ahead, thinking far ahead. There is a cover story article of Time which is talking about, it is a 2-month-old issue, which is talking about how the careers of 2020, 80% of jobs available in the world in 2020 do not exist today. Yeah? Look at if you're looking at HR, if you look at how the social media has changed the whole approach to marketing, whole approach to people recruitment in the last 4-5 years. Did anybody in 2005, 2004, 2006 think about it? You look at how proactively people are using it in the last couple of years. So it is very, very important to actually look much beyond. So kindly go and read. All these are accessible on the internet. All issues are accessible on the internet. So read the cover stories. Just go back. If you just take Time magazine, read the cover stories. Pick up Economist, read cover stories. Just spend 2-3 days and you will get to know what you are in for. Think much beyond. Do not live in the past. Most of us are worried with questions. How will I answer it? I've got less marks in that particular area. I have 1 year gap. How will my work is not a fashionable work. They will not appreciate. Everybody coming in is an IT engineer. How are they going to? They're not going to differentiate from your past. Yes, they have enough data to look for in your past, but what will differentiate is what you look at in the future. You cannot run ahead in your life looking behind. Nowhere you can do that. You are going to fall in the next ditch. Kindly look ahead, think ahead, explore ahead, analyze about things in the future. That's what is going to be of immense value. Kindly do not worry about what you do not have. Kindly think about what you have and what you can really have. Yeah. Anything more that you would like to add, my dear friends?
I'd like to add one more thing. People who are applying for HR, you should prepare a little bit on industrial relationships as well. IR factor, especially since the whole Maruti thing happened and everything. So people for HR should prepare on IR issues as well.
Yes, definitely. See, it is all about if you just pick out, you exhaustively list out all the issues in the last 1 year, and that would look at the Maneshwar, what is happening in the Maruti Udyog. So these are all issues. It is not just about HR. It's a business issue. If you talk about Tata Nano plant completely relocating from one state to another state, what do you, as a business head, what do you look at? As an HR person, what do you look at? How do you look at this issue? Now we are having issues about, if you look at POSCO POSCO and Vedanta in Odisha. Only yesterday's issue about allocating land of 100 acres or something. There's a lot of issues around it. So, okay, socio-cultural, environmental issues that will impact business, and the recent issues will make a lot of difference. Okay? They are talking, because you are going to Jamshedpur, in the interviews they may also talk about Tata versus Mistri, because that's in some of the interviews that have already been happening. They are asking about it. How do you see this spanning? So a little bit know about Cyrus Mistri. So you've got to be aware. Kingfisher issue. Yeah, these are the issues that have been troubling. FDI we are talking about. We are not talking about corruption. Bofors has happened, now the helicopter is happening. Okay? The governance issue. Okay? So kindly be aware of all those things that are very current. Yeah. if you have any work that you have done, so somebody asks, I do photography, so carry a couple of photographs in your file, okay? I think that would make immense difference. If you have some good work, carry them, or photographs of those work, carry them, okay? That will make a big difference. If they ask, you just say, this is my photograph, this is the work I have done. They may not ask you, but you can just prompt, I am carrying it. If you are keen, you can have a look at it. So don't worry about it. Yeah, always you need to also think about, because if they ask a question, why XLRI, if I don't get selected, what will happen? So that's very important. If you think little ahead of it, if you think the alternative routes that you have to go in that direction, that's very important, okay? Because they know his goal is very clear. If you are going to prevent him from entering this path through XLRI, what are other paths he has in mind? So if you have greater clarity of those things, it is good. Because ultimately, is MBA a ultimate goal of life or something else? MBA or XLRI is just a medium to launch yourself. It is just a 2-year platform to equip yourself to take the next leap. Okay? So kindly think about it. Think little bit beyond. Whether you are from biotechnology, if you are from whatever, I see questions here. So it is not about the biotechnology and HR. How do you really see these things spanning ahead, 5, 6 years, 7 years down the line? So that's what you have got to really think about. If your clarity of goal exists, I'm sure you will find a path. We have done it all the time. Yeah. If you love eating a particular fruit and paid nazaraya, if you have that tree with lot of fruits inside somebody's compound, you found various ways to reach that tree. Okay? And the fruit. So it is just, you should know the direction, you should know what you are heading for, and how XLRI just is going to give you tools, it's going to give you knowledge, it's going to give you some skill set. What is very important, how do you apply? Okay? On the reverse side of it, on the other side of it, corollary to it or whatever, if you have the goals clear, then you know what you have got to equip yourself with. Then you look at institution, what the institution has to offer, what you can offer to the institution. So kindly look at it. It is not about what you are going to gain 2 years down the line. How you are going to enrich the institution the next 2 years also is very important. So if you have those capabilities, which is going to add immense value to the institution, it will make a big difference. Okay? I can tell you from my own experience, for the first time in the whole history of IIM Bangalore, okay, I brought music, dance, theatre. If you go to IIM Bangalore campus, you still see my paintings and photographs adorning the walls of the institution. And the director, I have never known him, the current director, but when he gets to know I am the same guy who has got the painting in his room, okay, who has done the painting in his room, he is delighted. So that's what it is. What do you leave in the institution which can last? So that's very important. So kindly ask yourself, what is it that you are carrying? Okay? Yeah, if there are things which are very confidential, nothing is confidential, you're sharing there in the interview. But if you're still getting into new product launch, which the company has not yet announced to the marketplace, then perhaps you could just share a little bit about broader area, and you don't have to talk about a particular brand name and so on. But still it is not going to make any difference. Okay? So you share that some are confidential, but everybody knows what is confidential and what is not confidential. Yeah? Okay. Any more questions? Quickly type it before we wind up. Anything else you would like to add? Pooja, Manish, and
I would like to add one
Sujoy. Yes, please go ahead.
I would like to add one thing. Till now we have been telling so many things, so I would, suggest every participant to, after the session gets over, areas like starting from GD, that this was important, the current affairs was important, the technical was important. Where do I stand in this? what is the my weakness, and I should start working towards it. Because what happens is if he starts in an organized way, maybe he would be able to cover every aspect of it and be better prepared to face that interview. So it's very much important to jot down the area. So if I would like to concisely say it, then it would be for GD, you should be well versed with the current affairs, the international and national topics. Even if you don't get a direct topic from those things, you can use that information. You show your knowledge. So you use a structure, and it's better you attend some mock GD. That way you can prepare for GD. Afterwards, for interviews, you have to be thorough with why MBA and all those personal questions. So you at least if you see all those type of questions and you have some raw structure of answer in mind, you won't hesitate in front of the panel. So they should think about those questions. That is one area. One area would be current affairs and geography and stats of the area they live in. And the third area would be the academics. Especially they should prepare 2 or 3 areas of interest. So they can say that, okay, I might not remember everything from my engineering, but I do remember these things because they were my favorite and I am pursuing it right now. So those 2-3 areas. After that, if the guy has a work ethic, then he should be thought about what all role responsibility he has and what value addition he has done. So it should not be that I do a project of 10,000 crore turnover. So that would be obviously a team work. So what role he has to play in a team and what he has done. So you can that way highlight your achievements. That is one area, your work ethic. Apart from that, personal hobbies and interests and anything about institute. So these are broad areas. They should start working on all the areas simultaneously. If they get bored after preparing one area, they can move on to other. But all these areas have to be covered because in 20 minutes, I am telling you, at least 80% of the candidates would be asked from each and every area. So they look at the candidate thoroughly.
And also, people have been asking about backgrounds and what backgrounds are relevant, irrelevant. We have a batch that has a mix of people from biotechnology to doctors to CAs, M-Pharma and CFA, all the even psychology. So the batch has a mix of everything. So I don't think background plays a very big role. It makes more sense if you are from a BCom background to pursue an MBA because it's more connected. But then again, the stats are in favor of engineers heavily. But then again, nothing will stand in your way if you are well prepared, as well as if you are able to articulate your intentions, as well as reason why to do MBA very clearly. Also, one not so rosy side of MBA, everyone wants to do an MBA because the end product looks like a big fat paycheck, which needn't be true because placements are always driven by market, and a good B school will obviously give you a good platform and a good brand. But then again, surviving inside is a big struggle. You have to get minimum grades here below which you are made to repeat the year or maybe even thrown out of the college. So those things do happen, and scary enough, it happens very regularly. So be prepared for that kind of rigor, and I guess that's it.
Yeah. So once you get into the institution, you have its own roller coaster ride, and they make sure that at least first 2 terms you don't get to sleep. That's for sure in any institution. Yeah, but what is more important is getting in. So if you are thoroughly prepared, if you really can put in 36 hours in this 24 hours every day, it is about attitude that carry towards your life. It is not for your interview. I should confess and I should share. How do you see your own life? How intensely you look at it? How do you look at your own excellence? That is very important. It is not about a job. Everywhere, whether you are looking at institution, you are looking for a job within a job or within an institution, how much you are oriented towards excellence. Whatever you do, how good you do, how well you do, how internal driven are you. That's the bottom line. So if you and it is an everyday process. It's everyday process. Your existence is a socio-economic context. So you can look at You look at the biggest of the companies which have vanished. They perhaps have become byword for what the work they are. Xerox. The moment say, I want to Xerox, can you get 2 copies of Xerox please? That's what you use, but Xerox does not exist. Okay? So it is about excellence, it is about social. Xerox did not keep pace with what happened around. So we got to keep ourselves happy. If big organizations can vanish, there are many more organizations which have vanished for what they did and what they have not done. Okay? So it is very important. Each one of our lives ahead is about excellence. It's an everyday excellence. And how do you plan ourselves to excel in a context, whether it's organizational or socio-economic context or educational context. So dear friends, it's all about it. I hope we have addressed all the questions. One question a couple of times somebody has repeated, ethical versus practical. Yes, ethical and honesty is very, very important. If somebody has met with an accident and perhaps he is lying somewhere and you get a phone call, or he is being rushed to the hospital, perhaps you will, if it is at night and you're not getting into any other accident, or then if it's a red signal, perhaps you will rush through and you may get caught. But how will you handle it? How do you respond to it is very important. Okay? But at the same time, if for everything you will say that India is like this only, if you think ethical and honesty, things will not move, you have to give money to somebody, then that will be a big issue. But if the issue is about life versus ethical, perhaps you will choose life. If it is honesty, ethical, or if some other ethical versus getting the job done, then you choose ethical. Obviously, that's what we should do in our life. Okay? If it is question of life and death and ethical, perhaps you choose life and death. If it is question of honesty and ethicalness versus getting job done, perhaps you will be better off choosing ethical way. If I answer your question, it's great. So we'll wind up by just sharing a few more things. Apart from if you have been part of PDP sessions, there are many sessions that are happening. GD is happening. Personal interviews are happening. XLRI centric sessions are happening. Kindly go through those sessions wherever you are, and there is, for your preparation for all those questions that you have spoken about, the personality session, interview concept. If you look at these sessions on insights for PI, GD, dealing with sticky questions and hurdles in the interviews, yeah. There are many more. All these things are available online for you. If you have not yet explored, kindly go and click on this Power PDP. You have webinars there. We have offline sessions. There are too many of them. It is incumbent upon you. Okay, how much you take out. There are students who invest a lot of time, a lot of mails get returned, mails responded, phone calls coming, and GPs and Srinis and Satyas and Nishans and Rahuls and Atuls are all there interacting with students in every center wherever you are. Kindly make sure you invest time for your own future and take the maximum out of it. Yeah. With those thoughts, I would like to thank Sujoy, Pooja and Manish for investing your valuable time. Sujoy, Pooja and Manish, it's been a pleasure interacting with you. It's been of great value, I'm sure, for each of those who have been part of the session. Is it possible, Sujoy, Pooja and Manish, is it possible to have your email IDs if somebody has got any particular question?
I have shared it with Nishant sir. We have shared it with Nishant sir. We sent an email to him.
Okay. So you're open to receiving emails from aspirants which you can respond to?
Yeah, not an issue, but again, I'm not very sure if you can respond it promptly, but we will respond it.
Yeah, your response could be about 48 hours to 72 hours. Is that fine?
Yeah.
Okay. So Nishant, dear friends, Nishant will share their email IDs, and if you want to respond, if you want to seek any clarifications or any help, you are welcome to write to srini@careerlauncher.com, gp@careerlauncher.com. From this, I'm sure so will Nishant nishant.pant@careerlauncher.com. Okay, so you're very welcome to ask rahul.krishna@careerlauncher.com. Nishant, would you like to share something? Nishant, Rahul, would you like to share something before we wind up today's session?
No, sir. Thank you.
Nishant, would you like to add something?
No, sir. Thank you. I think it was well taken care of. Thanks a lot. Thanks to all the panelists.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure having you all here, and looking forward to many more interactions. Pooja, Sujoy, and Manish, see you when I am in Jamshedpur sometime this year. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot for having you all.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And with those thoughts, I'm going to close this session and welcoming you to write to these email IDs. Wishing you all the best. Just believe in yourself, and I'm sure a lot of things will fall in place. All the best, dear friends.
Sir, we have shared our email IDs also on the chat panel. So those are the.
Have you shared it?
In the chat panel, we have shared our email IDs.
Okay.
On Nishant, to Nishant, I think it's a private message to Nishant, sir.
Okay. Nishant will share. Nishant, would you like to share those email IDs? Kindly share, based on whatever inputs.
And good luck to all the candidates.
All the best.
Thank you, Pooja. Thank you, Manish. Thank you, Sujoy. Thank you very much. Thanks for your wonderful journey. One more year to go. The placement season is on. I am sure you all are eagerly watching at the placement season, the trends this year, so that you are planning your own launch the next year. Thank you. All the best for your journey too.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.